Welcome to the Mike and JD Show YouTube channel. Thank you for being here. I want you to do me a big favor before you check out this clip. I want you to hit the like button. I want you to throw in a comment and make sure you're a subscriber to this channel. And then I want you to share this video with your friends. Help us defeat the algorithm. And then if you like this content and you appreciate this content, please head over to patreon.com/the Mike and JD Show and support the show. That is how we actually get funded to be able to do this. So we thank you very much for being here. And now enjoy the clip. Topic that I want to talk about is because this has been something that I've been wanting for a long time, and this is my happiest. This is probably the happiest that TNA has made me in a little while. Alexander Hammerstone. Actually, they're just calling him Hammerstone, and I think that's a smart idea. Hammerstone has signed a contract with TNA Wrestling. It is a lengthy deal, which they don't really never put qualifiers on how long their deals are for, but they said a lengthy deal. So I would assume he's in for like at least 2 or 3 years. And that's a big signing. And I think that a signing like this, and then them extending Josh, picking up his option, and then and I'll talk about it in a little bit, but they're trying to work a new deal with Josh, kind of puts a little bit of cold water on all the budget cut talk that we had heard about. Now, when like Dave Meltzer and Mike Johnson and I know Joe Lanza and a lot of the folks, when they were talking about this budget cut stuff, this was coming from like the TNA people. So I don't think that was coming from Anthem. I think that was probably their assumption of what was going to happen given the new president, Chon, given his history. I think that's what they thought. But so far, we have not seen any evidence that is the case. And so that's going to be something to continue to monitor. I think maybe a lot of the people that were leaking that to the press didn't really know and were jumping the gun a little bit. Because if anything, we have seen the opposite be true. And so I think that's good news if you're a TNA fan, because it was a miserable, I would say miserable month for like fandom. It was like a good month for podcasters. Like our numbers are doing pretty good. So that was cool. But because chaos helps out with podcasting numbers and stuff like that. But I would say it was like a miserable time since those Orlando or the Kissimmee, Florida tapings. But things are starting to turn around, and I would say since D'Amore has been fired, this has been the best news that we've had. Hammerstone's a star, man. He really freaking is. He looks great. He could work. He's probably not like the greatest promo guy, but I think he could promo. Like his promos are good enough, right? I think that he can get the job done. And I am really surprised that WWE and AEW passed on this guy, because I think that he would have fit in both promotions. Now, given his physique, he probably would have lost some weight had he went over to WWE. And now I know what people are saying, like their guys are on steroids too. Yeah, but their guys are like on the expensive kind, right? like I'm pretty sure Hammerstone's not like a millionaire, right? Like he can't afford the AJ Styles, what AJ is on. He can't afford what Randy Orton's on. Like he's not going to like an anti-aging clinic to look like this. Like he's doing it old school bodybuilder way, with help from friends in the gym, and getting these like secret packages mailed to a PO box. Like so that might have been a little bit tough on him, but I think that he could have thrived there too, even had he lost like 30 pounds. Because he's like 265 pounds. Like he's a big jacked up dude, and he's fantastic. And my God, can the guy work? We saw him wrestle Josh Alexander, and I think people were surprised as to how good that match was. I wasn't surprised, because every time I saw him in MLW, and him and Fatu were like my main two reasons that I ever would watch MLW. Every time I saw him there, I just thought he was tremendous. I was like, this guy's got the look. He's got the body. He can work. He just comes across like a star. He's got a star aura. I think Hammerstone's going to be a top guy in this promotion for a long time. you've now just signed one of your cornerstones, like one of your pillars for the company. And that's all. And now that they got him around for a while, like he's really a guy that I think that they can get behind. I think he's a guy that like day one, like he has to be pushed day one. No waiting around, no building him up from the bottom. Like he's a big star. Sorry, hold on. He's gonna be immediately a big star for the company. So I don't think that you wait. And now we do know that he will be wrestling Josh Alexander coming up at Sacrifice. And like I know that it's in Windsor, Ontario. I know that's where Josh lives, right? Josh runs the Demore like wrestling school there. So I think that people would think that maybe Josh Alexander would win this match. Also because it appears like they're trying to get behind Josh again, and get him towards a title shot with Moose or Nick Nemeth, whoever wins at Rebellion. Look, I know it hasn't been announced that it's Nick Nemeth, but the fact that he's like the main guy on the poster, he's like they're promoting the show around him. Let's go ahead and be honest with each other. that it's very likely Nick Nemeth. Okay, so I think for me, Hammerstone has to win here. I really do. And here's how I would do it. Now I know I book shit all the time and it never happens, but it's my podcast, so I get to do this. So, but in my head, how we get Hammerstone over, he has to beat Josh. I think he wins with help from the system. I think the system needs Hammerstone. And I think that would make this, faction like a formidable faction. And then you immediately start telling the story of Hammerstone turning babyface, like the Triple H and Batista, from Evolution. Like, they started getting behind like a slow build to get behind Batista to take over, to turn on Triple H. I think that's what you do. Or, similarly, I think, Ole Anderson booked it, rest in peace, Ole. They put Sting in the Four Horsemen, and the whole reason they put Sting in the Four Horsemen was for him to, that was when the Horsemen were babyface, by the way. So they put Sting in the Four Horsemen, and slowly, he wins a title shot, and the Horsemen turn on Sting, and they have a big feud between Sting and Ric Flair that culminates a Great American Bash 90. And it was very similar to what happened at Evolution, right? When Dave Batista won the Royal Rumble, got the title match against Triple H, and they told him not to take it, and then of course he took it. And next thing you know, we got Triple H versus Batista at WrestleMania, and that was a huge match. I think something similar can happen here, with Moose and Hammerstone. I think you put them in the same faction, you put them in the system. You immediately put them in with your top people. You keep them strong. You don't let anybody beat them. And then he wins the Call Your Shot Gauntlet at Bound for Glory. And then he calls a shot in next year's Hard to Kill against Moose, or against, maybe there's like a different champion, right? Like maybe, you could do whatever you want. I don't know if they want to keep the belt on Moose for that long, because I do think they probably want to transition over to Nick Nemeth at some point, because he appears to be like their top star, at least based off of the marketing. Like that's who they seem to be getting behind. So, but that is one way that you could do it. That's how I would book it. I know it's not very original because Evolution and the Four Horsemen already did it, but you can do it in a different way. Like it doesn't have to be exactly the same, but that's what I would do. Because I think you put Hammerstone and Moose on like a poster or like on a billboard, in Las Vegas at the Palms. I think people would be automatically interested in that. And then they get to the match, and I bet that match would be pretty fucking good. I do. Like Moose is great. I know Moose has a lot of haters. I think he's great. He's not your typical modern, slap the thigh, kick out of everything, do all the crazy moves. Like you're not going to get that out of him. He's more of a traditional heavyweight. He's more of a traditional heavyweight wrestler. Very much a WWE style wrestler, but I think he does a lot of big moves too. So I think that would be awesome for TNA if they built to a Moose and Hammerstone match. Now, people are going to say, well, what about Josh? And I think that they could get to. I think that Josh and Moose at Bound for Glory, or Josh and Nick Nemeth at Bound for Glory, would be a way to go, or something like that. I think they're going to want to get to that. But look, we got to face facts. Josh asked them not to extend his deal, and they did. And he stated, and I'll get into that in a little bit, but he basically stated, actually, we'll just get into that now. So Hammerstone, big pickup. I love the signing. I think it's a home run signing. I think that they probably got a little bit lucky that AEW is so stacked right now and WWE is so stacked right now that they probably didn't need to add this guy. Because if they did add him, he would probably have to be at the bottom of the card, and that's just not somebody that you want at the bottom of your card. Like, he is a guy that you want in that upper tier echelon of your promotion, just based off of his look and his work ability and everything. He just isn't a big star yet. And so they probably didn't want to bring him in at that level. But TNA can bring him in and put him right at the top. There's room at the top of the promotion. They need, more main eventers. They need guys that look great on posters, that can work, that'll sell tickets. And I think Hammerstone's like one of those guys. I really do think he is. If they put their marketing machine behind Hammerstone, he is a guy that is going to do very well in this company. So I would say that's a home run pickup.